Hello everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to Stamp and Create with Beth. I'm Beth Roy, an Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. So if you pop in, say hello. I'm going live on a different day than normal. So today is Friday, December 5th, 2025. And hopefully a few people can join me live. So if you pop in, say hello. If you watch the replay over on YouTube, feel free to say hi there as well. And if you're new to hanging out with me, let me know where you're watching from. So good evening. Tonight, I want to talk about some of my favorite gift card holders. So during the holidays, and even for birthdays and other occasions, I give a ton of gift cards. So I wanted to show you some of my favorites, and I have a few different kits that we're going to choose from tonight to see which one we want to make. So you may hear my heater kick on and off in the background, so if you can't hear me, please comment because I'm not used to running it, but it's very cold. Alright, so I'm just waiting to see if anyone else pops in. Hi, Christy. Yes, it's very cold outside. My craft room is very cold. Alright, so I'm going to just go over some of the cards that I've made. So here's one, and I'm calling this an overlapping gatefold. So part of the gatefold creates the pocket. So you lift it up, and this part is actually a pocket, so it doesn't open. And that will fit a gift card. So your little gift card will tuck in here, and you still have room for a message. So I have a kit cut for this, but it's a different color scheme. So for this card, I used a set that recently retired called More Than Autumn, and it had a cute little coffee cup with some sayings for autumn and winter. So if you have that set, I do love having a little coffee cup. And then I used that paper. I'm in love with this black and white paper. I've used it on lots of cards the last couple of weeks. This is the Modern Christmas Specialty Designer Series paper, and I modified it with my Stampin' Blend. So it's a black and white paper, and I added color to it. And then I just have room for a simple message in there. So I do have a kit cut for a card in this style. It will be different. Excuse me. Now this one I wanted to show you, but I don't have a kit for this one tonight. This is very simple. So this is a regular sized card. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I cut the front at an angle, and then I taped these two sides down to create a pocket. So there's a little pocket for my note card. And I stamped it with, this is the Outdoor Adventure, and it has coordinating dies. And this is also a pocket to hold your gift card. So a little bit different. I love pocket cards. These are great. I can have my little message here, and I can have my gift card in here. And then you can decorate your front however you want. Hello, Maggie. And then my third card, and I have some kits cut for this one, is my pocket card that I've made this several times. I just love this. So it has room for a little message. It only uses 1/4 of a sheet for your card base. And then you can also tuck your gift card down in there so that it's tucked in with your message. So those are probably my favorites. Now these two are new. I haven't made those in the past. Let me get my little thing out here. But this one, this pocket card is one of my favorites. And so, hey Joan. Hello, happy Friday everybody, right? So I have a couple kits and we're going to decide which one we want to make together. So, all three of these cards do hold gift cards. There is a way that you could modify it a little bit and make, especially something like this or this one. And, well, I would have to modify it, but you could make it so that it's deeper and use foam and stuff some other goodies down in here. But I'm going to work on that one. I'll share it when I get it designed. So tonight I have kits in these two styles and we're going to decide what to make. Are you ready? So here's one of my older cards. Okay, this I made a birthday card. Okay, and that's where this style comes from. So I do have a video and I have a printable. So if you're in my Stamp and Create with Beth group, there is a printable for the directions for this card. It doesn't have directions for the layers you may create, but it does have the directions for the pocket and all the bits and pieces, other bits and pieces, okay? So that's where that inspiration came from. So I have a kit, I'm trying to grab it here, to make this card exactly as I did that one. So we can do that. Or I have another kit for this style, and it's a little bit different, uses some different colors, and let me show you my color inspiration. So I created this card. We did this card in my Christmas card buffet class, and I did use a retired set for my snowman and my greeting, but I just loved this color combo that I came up with. So I've created some bits and pieces to make this style of card, but with some of this. I don't have the polka dot paper, but I do have that black and white paper that we modified. So there's that one. And then I have one more kit, and it's in this style, but it's a different color scheme, and it uses the polka dot paper from the Modern Christmas Specialty Designer Series paper. And this is a card I made last year, and it used retired sets, but I love these colors. So this is Pretty Peacock, Cherry Cobbler, Pool Party, and then Smoky Slate. So I have some bits and pieces to make a card like this, but we're going to use the snowman and the color scheme that I had on that card. So, and I have a little bit different die cut here. So this is from the Branching Out dies. It does have a coordinating stamp set, but I only got the dies. I really wanted these shape dies, so that is what I used. So what do you guys think? Now I do not have a PDF for this one, but I have one from, I think it was last year that I made this card. So what do you guys think? What do you want to make tonight? And I'm curious in the comments. I feel like as the kids get older, we give a lot more gift cards for things. Oh, thank you for the love. I appreciate that. You like the mountains? I do too. And if you guys like this mountain set, now I used two different sets on this. I used this is the Scenic Adventure dies, this mountain, and the trees are from, oh, let me make sure I tell you the right name. It's the Aurora dies. the Light and Wonder dies. So, and these are on the last chance, I believe. So if you like them, grab them. Hello, Vicki. Thanks for joining us. Oh, I see a couple votes for mountains. I really thought you guys would go for the Secret Sea and Pretty in Pink. Do you have a vote, Vicki? We're making one of these. I have 3 kits. Let me move this one out of the way. I have this kit. I have this kit that is exactly like this card. And then I have this kit, which just uses some different colors. Okay, so, well, I see 2 votes for mountain, so let's go for that one. And I don't know, we'll see. You like the hot cocoa? Now, my plan on this one was to do a snowman, just because I like the snowmen. But you could do hot cocoa cups. Or if you have, we have some older coffee sets, so if you've collected those are great. All right, I think we're going with the mountain. I see a lot of votes for that one. So I'm going to set this to the side. If we have time, maybe we'll make some more. I'll have to see how much time we have. So this one, the only stamping I did on this was the greeting. So this kind of card is great. So let me tell you all of our pieces here. This one does have a printable. And ironically, I used the hot cocoa or coffee. This could be either one. And when we made this card. So you can print this printable off of my blog. You can search hot cocoa themed pocket card or pocket card. And it's also on my YouTube channel. Okay. And it has a link to the blog where you can get this PDF. Or if you're in the Stamp and Create with Beth group on Facebook, this is in the Files tab or Media, whatever it's called now. So this base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you can get 4 pieces out of one sheet of cardstock. That's in the US sizes. And then I have a layer. This came from Peaceful Garden Designer Series paper. So you can see that pretty pattern on the back, but this reminded me of just like a wintry sky. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/4 by 4. And then I have the pocket. So I've already cut and scored all of this ahead. So this is 4 inches by 7 1/4. It's scored at 4 1/4. And then it's scored, let's see. I'm sorry, not 4 1/4. I'm sorry, 1/4. Let me start over with that one. It's scored at 1/4 and 3 3/4. Okay. And then to create my pocket, it's scored at 1/2 on the bottom. So we're going to fold that. Yeah, I love the Secret Sea with pink. I just discovered that. I'm not even sure where I came up with that. But I love that Secret Sea cloud cover and Pretty in Pink together. So that will be a card. As I said, I give a lot of these away, and so I will be needing it. You have the coffee sets? Yeah, I love all the coffee sets. I try to have all the coffee sets. Okay, so we're going to burnish those score lines really well. I want them to be really crisp, okay? And then we're going to do a little cutting on this pocket. So I don't need this piece right here. So I'm going to cut along that line. And then I like to just do kind of an angle on my flap. Okay, so I like to angle that little piece. And then I don't need this piece right here. So I'm going to angle this side. And then I'm going to angle right here. And then I'm going to angle that. That just helps it lay better when you adhere it. So we'll see if this one won't take me very long. So we may have time to make two. Okay, so all I do is adhere this together. And you know, in my cards, now I think I used the hot cocoa one. I don't know. I give things away and some things I keep, so I never know what I have. But you can emboss this layer. You can use designer series paper. The one that was plaid that shows in the printable, that was a background stamp, and I colored it in and modified it. You guys will notice I like to do that a lot. I like to make things my own. Okay, so that's our base, and this is going to become our pocket. And you know what I just realized? I forgot to cut my note card. Let's see if I have one in this set. Nope. Hold on, let me grab my sheet of paper. Hi, trimmer. Sorry about that. So my note card is 3 1/4 by 4. That's by 4. Okay, and you can make it taller this way if you want. You can modify that. Okay, now we have our little note card that's going to slide in here. Okay, and then I have this. Okay, so let me tell you about this little stack here. I used the Stylish Shapes dies, and I cut the largest square. And then I cut one out of the designer series paper to match. And I'm going to adhere these together so that this is a little sturdier, because this isn't very thick. And then I die cut 2 more squares out of, this is Willow White, with that same die. And then I use the die to cut the top so that all of the bottoms match that stitched square. And then they will just layer like that. Okay. So this one we're going to add color to, and I added a little color to this as well. So let me grab those. I'm going to make my layer, and then I'll show you how we glue the pocket. Okay, so I'm just taking my designer series paper, and I'm adhering those 2 die cuts together. So, did you guys collect these dies, the Scenic Adventure and the Light and Wonder? Well, all right. Maybe, there they are. I hid my blends from myself. Well, you know, Okay, so let me grab scratch paper here. I love these scene dies and just how you can layer them. Okay, so to do my trees, I took dark Mossy Meadow and I just kind of flicked like along where the edge of the trees would be. You guys may hear my children in the background playing video games as well. I can hear them, so I'm sure you probably can too. So it's not perfect, but you know, you get the idea. Looks kind of messy. So that was dark Mossy Meadow. Now I'm going to come in with dark Old Olive. And I'm just going to kind of go back over some of those areas. And you can make your trees as light or dark as you want. If you don't like them as dark, leave more white space because we are going to go over them with the light Old Olive. And I am just kind of going from the bottom up and adding in. Okay, my brush tips kind of going out. Let me grab a different one. Hold on. Okay, let me try this marker. There we go. This looks better. So I'm just going over those trees and I'm laying it down and flicking up. And we're gonna give some definition to the bottom. So don't worry about if it's perfect. Oops, there we go. Okay. So there's my trees. And you can, like I said, you can add as much light or dark as you want. Now I'm going to come in. This is Natural Tones, and it is the medium deep. And I'm just going to kind of flick down here and kind of create a tree trunk on the bottom. So I'm just kind of going along the middle. I don't want a big line, so I'm just doing a little line and then like a tree trunk. So I'm just trying to define that bottom a little bit. And that's what I did on this card. You guys still with me? Okay, so to create just a little shadow, you can't really see on this card, but it does show a little bit. So I just came in, this is light gray granite, and I created some snow, and you can do as much as you want or as little as you want. And then after I do the line, so that's the light gray granite, I use my color lifter and I just kind of go back over that line to kind of smooth it out a little bit. It helps push it through the paper. It doesn't really lift it, just kind of pushes it through the paper. This is just the alcohol marker solution. So it kind of dilutes that color that you've already put on. And it helps it create kind of a soft shadow. Oh, yay, Joan. You're making it with me. Thank you. Now I'm going to put some of that gray granite up here on my mountain. And I'm just kind of following. There's some lines that are cut into it. And I'm just kind of going along that and creating a little bit of shadow, just some interesting things to draw your eye. And then I'm going to use that color lifter again and dilute that color I put on it, and it's going to push it through. So make sure you have something under your where you're working so that you don't ruin the surface below. Just in case you're working on a nice table, you want to make sure you have something. The glass mat is great to work on top of, or you can put some grid paper. I just use some old grid paper and make sure that it's protecting my workspace. So there, I've added a little color to my mountain, and it's a little darker than that one. So once this kind of works a little bit, you can come back in and dilute it a little bit more if you need it to tone it down. And it's up to you how dark it is and how you want it. Okay, so these two layer like this on top of this square. So to make this layer, I cut 3 basic white or willow white squares, whatever you have. I cut 1 square from the designer series paper, and then the top 2 I die cut with the edge die that I wanted. So this edge die is from Light and Wonder, these trees, and this mountain is from Scenic Adventure. Okay, and we'll adhere all those together and they'll go on top of there. Okay, so to make my pocket, I'm going to use some tear and tape. And this 1/4 of an inch flap, I'm going to go right along that score line. It's a little ways away from me, so I may not get it exact, but we want some there. And then I like to do 2 down here where I made it 1/2 inch. This is going to create our pocket. So I do 2 strips down here. Okay. Oops. And if you have any of the adhesive that's hanging over, just make sure you fold it into where the adhesive should be. So where we cut those angles and those areas, just make sure there's no adhesive hanging over. So we're going to take this piece and put this, the paper, whatever direction you want it. So I like this little, this looks like water was flicked on it. It's watercolored, and that's what it reminds me of. Now we're going to take this and I'm going to fold this in and fold this in. And it's very sticky. And then this is going to close shut. So I just take my time. Tear and tape is permanent. So once it's stuck, it's not moving. And I just try to go slow and make sure that it's lined up. and then I press down. Okay, so I pressed on the outside. Now I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to press right along that line and along the bottom just to make sure. Now I feel a little bit of adhesive that maybe came over. I'm just going to take an adhesive eraser and pull it off a little bit. Okay, it's not going to hurt anything. So here's my pocket, and then I'm going to take tear and tape. I'm going to put on the back of here. Make sure that your pocket opens up before you adhere it on because otherwise it will be going the wrong way. I'm guessing we could, you know, fix it or make do, but it may not come out how you want it to. So we're going to go along all the sides. And we're using tear and tape. You can use Seal Plus because this is a pocket. So there's going to be something that might be pulled out of there several times. And you want to make sure that it's going to stick. And look, I got off just a little bit. Just a little bit. Probably bothered me more than it would the recipient, but I just trimmed it. It wasn't the part that was going to affect the pocket. Just hanging over. Okay, so pocket opens this way, and I'm going just up a little bit from the bottom. And I'm trying to get it even on both sides. And then I want to come in here. I'm going to use that bone folder again, and I'm going to press that back down where that adhesive is. Okay, now we're ready to glue this. On this one, I stamped it with Celebrate the Season, which is from the Delicate Pines. So you can stamp it Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or for you, or whatever you want really. So now I'm just taking that mountain and I make sure this is facing the way that I want it to. And I'm gonna, adhere this on. And I'm making sure that that bottom's lined up and the sides are lined up. Now we have this little piece. And I just put a tiny bit on the trees. So if you're making the card along with me, what greeting are you putting on your card? Now I realize over on YouTube you may not be able to see these comments because they're on Facebook, but we'll see. Try to read out what everyone says that's making it. Oops. Okay, this goes on to here. You can use tear and tape if you want. I am just using liquid adhesive. The liquid glue does really well with these things. And I'm just putting it about the middle. And if you need it to have some pressure on there, just stick a clean block on top. So we have our little note card that slides in and out, and now we need a pull. And I have a bunch of little circles already die cut. because I wasn't sure what color I wanted earlier. So I think I used the dark old olive. So these are all cut from two-toned paper, and it's using the smallest circle from the the Stylish Shapes, which is a stitched circle. So I have a light old olive, and then I have Mossy Meadow here. I have a light Secret Sea, and then I have Cloud Cover, light and dark. So do you like one of those with this? We could use a green, like I did over here. We could use one of our greens that we have left. Now, this can be stamped Merry Christmas. I left this one blank, but we could stamp whatever we want on there. And Celebrate the Season is just stamped on a scrap strip. So these are 1/2 inch, and I have varying lengths, and I just stamp it and then cut it. So I stamp Celebrate the Season in Cloud Cover ink. I just liked the softness of it. I didn't want the greeting to be really bold. So what do you guys think? Do you want to use the this greeting? I gotta find it. It's not laying here with me. Here it is. Okay, so I've got Celebrate the Season. It's the Most Magical Time of Year might fit. Warmest Winter Wishes. It's a little bit shorter, but I've got Merry Christmas over here. I do have Merry Christmas. This is from the Paper Pumpkin set. Oh, Let It Snow. Oh, let me see. This has a stacked Let It Snow. I think I have a Let It Snow in one of my Paper Pumpkins. I know I used Let It Snow, but I'm not sure where I got that greeting from. Oh, you're using Let It Snow for yours. Okay, I thought you were saying for mine. I'm sorry. I did ask that question, didn't I, Joan? And you know, I just grabbed this out. Oh, sorry, that was loud. I don't know if you guys saw these. I think they're sold out again, but these are the Greetings for You Ephemerum pack, and it has gold on it, but it does have things like Merry Christmas, Merry and Bright, and they have these little pre-printed greetings that you could use. And these are actually stickers. So they're very heavy duty and they are stickers. So you could do something like that. Let's see what else is in here. I use these for some cards, but I haven't used that many of them. 'Tis the Season. What do you guys think? Anybody have any thoughts on it? I feel like that's too small. So you could literally make cards with no stamping, because you could just use a sticker. And you can color this too. Joan says, "'Tis the season." I just saw one of those that was long. Where did it go? I do like "'Tis the season." Okay. Oops. Let me tuck these back in. Get them all put away. Maybe. Okay. So I have Merry Christmas or "'Tis the season." And let me show you how we can modify this. And then we'll decide. I'm going to do both of them. So I'm going to grab my little cloud cover brush. I'm going to pick up some ink here. And you can go right over top of this so that it is not white on the background. And it will not hurt the embossing. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera. So there's Merry Christmas. See how it made it darker? Anyone have any thoughts? So this is an alternative if you don't have a lot of greetings and you've picked up some of these mix and match with greetings. And they work just with the white background too. You don't have to do this. I just wanted it to be a little bit different. So, grab my cloth here. Whenever you have something that's embossed and you've sponged over it, just kind of wipe it off a little bit. And anything that got on that embossing will come right off. For the classic inks. Now, if you use blends, it'll probably stay on your letters. Only you. What I miss. Everyone else is quiet. So I guess, does that mean I have to decide? Let me get my grunge paper out of here. So we have "'Tis the Season." And I kind of like that. I like both ways. And I also like "Merry Christmas." A little bit different. You're the only one that has an opinion. I guess so. All right, I think I'm going to go with "Merry Christmas," but I'm going to save this off to the side so it's ready for my next one. And then this just peels off, and it's a very nice die cut. It has a nice thickness to it. I hadn't used these before. There we go. Now we have our little note card here. And yeah, I like both of them. So if you were making more than one, you could make a lot of different greetings. So now I've got to choose what I want my pool to be. So to do this, I just die cut the smallest circle, or you could use a small circle punch or whatever you have, and then I'm going to fold it in half. But I got to choose which color. So this slides down in here like this. And we need a color. What do you think? Do you like, this is light mossy meadow. I kind of like it with green because it helps it stand out and it helps the recipient know that it pulls out. And somewhere in my stash, I actually have little stamps that say pull. So you could stamp that on this side and they would know, but I think it's kind of self-explanatory a lot of times when there's a little tab on it. So this would be light mossy meadow, and these are two-toned. So you've got a dark side and then the light side, but this is light old olive. And I kind of like it with the green. So this isn't wrong. This is light secret sea, and it would work fine. It matches everything. I just feel like the green helps pull in the color of the trees. This is cloud cover. So you can see it works, but it does start to blend in a little bit. This is the light side of cloud cover. So it's a little bit brighter and it kind of pulls in this color as well. So what do you think? You like the green? Okay, let's vote. If you're still watching and you feel like participating, do you want the light green or the dark? So just say light or dark. And I'm going to finish off this card. Ooh, okay, see a vote for dark. Anyone else? Ooh, oh man, we're getting tied. Ooh, I think light's gonna win. I'll give a few more seconds. Anyone else want to throw their opinion in there? White is winning. And there's no wrong color. I mean, let's be honest. It's whatever color you like the best. And maybe if you make, you can make a big variety of these cards and do the pulls all different colors. I think light is going to be our winner. So I'm going to put these off to the side because I have a lot of these to make. So they will definitely get used up. Okay, so just gonna fold this in half. Oh no! I see some more comments. Go ahead and go with the light, but your choices are noted for sure. Like I said, there's not a wrong one. And I'm just going to put a dab of glue on the entire circle. We're going to slide this about the middle. I am not measuring. So if it bothers you, if it's not exactly in the middle, you can measure wherever the middle falls. Let's see. This is 3 1/4. So I'm just guessing. Okay. You can stamp on here. In the Scenic Adventure stamp set, there is some trees that you could stamp on here. The Light and Wonder, the coordinating stamp set is words. So, or you could pull in a tree from whatever other set you have and stamp on there if you wanted. I'm going to leave mine blank for right now. So there we go. That is our pocket card. A little bit different because we used a different type of greeting. And like I said, if you want your note card to be a little bit taller, then it's 3 1/4 wide. And so the height is 4 inches. If you want it taller, you could make it a little taller. There we go. What do you guys think? Okay, so you guys want to make one of these? And I'll show you this card. I'll try to do it quick. Now I had planned on stamping a snowman on this, and the color scheme that I want to use is the color scheme I used on this card from last year. Tuck this off to the side for a minute. Thank you, ladies. So I picked a pretty peacock base. I have this polka dot pattern from Modern Christmas designer series paper. And I pulled out the stamp sets that I used to make this card, and I thought I would stamp a snowman and maybe some trees on this. Now remember, this is from Branching Out. So what do you think? Do you want to do, and this Let It Snow is from a paper pumpkin. So I use a lot of those old greetings. Or would you like to stamp something different? So this paper I was going to modify. So you can modify it by using a blending brush and your ink and brushing on ink, or you can use your blends markers. Now, it will take a lot of ink, from your marker. So, what do you guys think? What kind of images do you think of when you see this polka dot paper? It's really fun. Remember, I used what I call the plaid. It's like a grid, and I modified it. So, thank you. So let me go over the bits and pieces here, and I don't have any of my notes in front of me, so we're going to guess because I left them across the room. It is 5 1/2 on the height, and it's 9 inches on the width. And this score line is 1 1/2 from the bottom. This will become the bottom. And over here is scored at 3 1/4. So it's 5 1/2 by 9. And you're going to score it at, here, let me tell you the score lines, like if you were on your trimmer. So you would do it at 1 1/2, and then 5 3/4. Okay, that's going to become our base. This one folds up to make our pocket. Oh, yeah. That's a good idea, Joan. If you have designer series paper that you love, use that. I am just really in love with this black and white paper that I can kind of modify and make it all different colors. Okay, so this is going to get folded in. This piece right here in the middle is our typical card size. So this is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I have a piece here to go on the inside. It is 5 1/4 by 4. And you're going to stamp it or decorate it however you want. And I just stamped mine with Merry Christmas along the top, because then once this is folded in, this is going to be adhered down. So this becomes the pocket. Okay? Are you with me, Joan? Let me know if I'm going too fast with the measurements. I'll do my best to slow down so that you can hear me. Now, you can use any die cut. It's going to go on the front, and it's going to hang down just a little bit where the pocket is. Okay? Now, here is where I made an adjustment. So, this piece I originally cut 5 1/4 by 4 because it goes on like this. But then after I made my card, I realized that I really wanted this to be a little bit higher, and I had already cut this. So you can make the modification while you're crafting along. So this piece you would actually want to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then you're going to trim this at 3 inches. So when you pull this apart, the top part here is your top piece here, this flap is 5 1/4 by 3. And so if you want your bottom piece to fit a little more evenly so that there's no, there's not a wide border right here, then you'll want to make sure that this is 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. Okay. So like I cut this piece and I colored it and then I chopped it apart so that they matched exactly. Okay. So mine has a little bit wider border on the top of the pocket. I'm okay with that. Okay, so those are my bits and pieces. And remember, I'm using the color scheme of Pretty Peacock, Pool Party, and Cherry Cobbler. And on my favorite card from last year, I had a little bit of Smoky Slate thrown in here or there. We don't have to use that, but if we need a neutral, that's what we use. Mischievous Pet set. Ooh, with this paper. I don't have Mischievous Pets. Is that the one that is like a Get Well set? So I did cut this cutout bigger because I thought I was going to do snowmen. So let me know in the comments if you want to do the snowman or if you want to try something different. And then I'm going to have to think of what stamp set we can use. Of course, I love polka dots. So let's modify this while I'm thinking. And I think I'm just going to use, and if you watched my video from last week, you saw how I modified this and used the blend. So I'm going to use my blending brush on this one. Trying to find, there we go. And I'm going to put Pool Party on it. And sometimes I just need to do this part because then I kind of feel like it starts coming together and it helps me decide what stamp set I want to use. So I'm just loading up my brush and then I'm adding color right onto my Designer Series paper. Oops. So tell me, besides Joan, who all is crafting along with me? Or maybe, I mean, you don't have to be doing the exact project I'm doing. Let me know if you're crafting along. I'm just making that a little darker. Okay, there's one piece. Oh, yeah, I don't have that set, but that's a great set. That would be really cute. I need something that fills my die cut. So you could even do a holiday flower or whatever you have. I just like snowmen with my polka dots. Actually, I like them with everything, but. And they are a retired set, but they are some of my favorite stamps and I use them often. So buy things you love because you're going to continue to use it. Sometimes this part is so relaxing. Just adding ink. I know, might be boring to some of you, but. Okay, so I'm thinking, I still would like the snowmen, but. Ooh, so you got the new Valentine's Bear Kisses and you made a Christmas card with it. That's a cool idea. I didn't get that set either. Okay, I think it's good enough. I didn't get super inky. That's okay. Okay, so this piece goes here. And this is the flap that's going to overlap a little bit. And this goes here. Okay, so just a little bit of color to help tone down the black and white. Now we've got to add something on here. Just trying to make sure I don't have ink on my fingers. All right, looks like we'll do snowmen. So I may do, well, I am going to make that other card. I'll post it later. So I thought about using this set because I like, it has two snowmen and they just look so happy, or snow ladies, whatever they are. So this set, the Spirited Snowman, I love this ice skating snowman. I use it quite a bit, but I thought I would change this up a little bit and use these two. So let's see. So again, this is an older set. And this has a Let It Snow in it. It's a little stacked, but it also has a scripty Merry Christmas. So this snowman season is also retired, but again, it's in my stash. So I thought about stamping these two right here because they both look so happy to be in the snow. And then I'm going to get some blends to color them in. Okay, and I'm going to stamp them in basic gray. Okay, I think I got it all. Now, if you don't have the glass mat, you'll want to use your Stampin' Pierce mat to make sure you get a good image when you're stamping with photopolymer stamps. Okay. So there's one. So I have the mousse set. The new one, I have the new set that has, I don't know if it's a moose or an elk. And the wolf, is that the set you mean? Okay, I'm just getting some colors here. And so I grabbed all the colors, even though I don't know what I'm going to use just yet or how I want to use it. I'm going to set this off to the side. I have my Cherry Cobbler, Pretty Peacock, Pool Party, and I have Light Smoky Slate. So those are all the blends that I have, and I'm going to see, how do I want to color this? So I'm gonna do some little lines on my snowman here. Give them some shape. So that's the Light Smoky Slate, and I'm going to use my color lifter to dilute that again. So this is the, between this one and the Gray Granite, there are the lightest grays that Stampin' Up! Has. So this is how I get a lighter gray that I want on my snowman. So this color lifter is just applying that alcohol solution and diluting that ink that we've already put down. Now this little snowman doesn't have a scarf or anything for us to color, so I'm going to add color on his buttons. He's going to have some Cherry Cobbler buttons. Because I want that pop of red in there. And then let's go on to this snowman. I use a lot of color lifters. Okay. And while I do this, I usually just think about how I want those colors to look on my snowman and where I want them to go. Okay, so while I was doing that, I was deciding I want this stripe right here, the small stripe, to be red, okay? And I'm going to do, I think like a light pool party. So sometimes when I have blends, I don't always blend. Sometimes I just color or fill in. And I like that I have a light and a dark option. So I love, you know, cherry cobbler with the teals. It's probably one of my favorite combos. And I use it a bunch in the winter. Okay, now I want my hat to be pretty peacock, but I'm not sure if I want it to be light or dark. I think I'm gonna do both. So let me show you what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna color this little hat with the light pretty peacock, and then I'm gonna dot some color so it looks speckled. Can you guys see that? Now for their little noses, you could bring in another color. I think I'm just gonna use some little dots of the pool party, like their nose is frozen from the snow. I'm gonna color in some of the snow. Now this stamp set does have some extra snow that you could stamp. So it has this little thing. I might do that so that it kind of evens out. So I have some snowflakes over here. Good enough. Okay. Sometimes less is more, right? Okay. There's my little snowman. And I think for this one, I'm gonna color, this is light, pretty peacock. There we go. Now you could draw in more snow, you could add, you could use this and kind of sponge around, add some more color if you want. I'm going to go ahead and stamp, I'm going to stamp this with Merry Christmas, and I'm going to do it in cherry cobbler. So let me move this because you guys know how I am with cherry cobbler ink. Okay, so I've got Merry Christmas. I'm going to stamp here on the inside. Dig out a block here. So remember, this is landscape. So stamp the right direction. Make sure you have your orientation correct. Okay. And I'm going to stand up. So I can see. So sorry if I'm creating a shadow. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side for a second. I'm going to adhere these pieces on. So it's a pretty simple bits and pieces to build the card, and then of course you can make it as decorative as you want. You could really layer lots of die cuts and lots of festive things. Okay, so this will go like this, and then this goes over top. Isn't that fun? Okay, so this, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this so I can show you how to create the pocket. And then I'm going to decide if I want to stamp something else on the front. Okay, so to create this pocket, I'm going to get my tear and tape back out. And I'm just putting tape on either end here. And I did, oops, don't rip your cardstock. I did 2 rows like that on each end. So really you could create a bunch of these, a stack of these, and then just decorate them as you need them. Very simple card base. Again, if you accidentally went over, make sure that it's not hanging over. You don't want your top flap to get stuck shut. I tend to go past my cardstock, so this would be a great time to have my take your pick tool. Okay, so I'm just making sure none of my adhesive is over that edge, and I just fold it up and press it down. And then I use my bone folder just to come in here and make sure that I can get in there to my pocket. So this goes like that. Plenty of room for your message. Now we're ready to do the front. Take that out for a second. Okay, so this going to go about like that. So it's just hanging over a little bit. Make sure you do not put any adhesive on the part that's hanging over. You don't want it to be taped shut. And I'm actually going to put this on dimensionals like this. Now I'm thinking that I do like the Let It Snow. So maybe, I think it'll fit there. I am going to grab, let's see, do we want to do it in red or Pretty Peacock? Do you guys have a preference? I'm going to clean my stamps really quick while you let me know which ink you want Let It Snow in. So I've got Cherry Cobbler and I've got Pretty Peacock. Oh, thank you for the love. Thank you, Joan. I can't wait to see the cards you made along with me. I hope you will share them. Oh, I see. Ooh, we have a tie. Get your votes in. Thank you, thank you. So I don't think I have. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Let's see which one we like. Ooh. Here's my. So let's see. Let It Snow. And I may use my stamp positioner. Don't know if it's near me or not. Just in case I need it to stamp darker, because part of it's going to go over, I think, where my snowman's foot is. Okay. Any other? Oh, I see some more votes. Well, you know me. Sometimes I just have to test it out. Just got to test it. And sometimes your ink may be stamping a little differently than mine, because depending on if you've re-inked recently or... So there is Let It Snow, and it's going to go right over top of that area where his little foot is, or Let It Snow. And like I said, I might use my stamp positioner instead of my block, just to be sure. Oh, I think Cherry Cobbler won. Again, if you're recreating this or creating right along with me, there is no wrong answer. It is whatever you like. Okay. Let it snow. Of course. I think good enough. Okay. So Cherry Cobbler just barely won out, but they're both the correct answer. So use your favorite. T doesn't want to. There we go. That's why I used it. I'm not always very good with Cherry Cobbler ink. Okay, so this is all ready to go. All we have to do is put this on. And you know I'm going to let that sit for just a second, but I do need to find, I'm going to use some dimensionals. And by some, I mean a lot, because I like a lot. Cherry Cobbler ink can streak when you first stamp with it. It takes just a second to kind of soak in, and I stamped it 3 times, so. Oops. I'm going to take my time. And remember, I don't want anything down here because it is going to overlap. So I'm trying not to go all the way to the bottom. Let's see. Okay. Probably good enough, right? Okay. I'm going to quickly peel all these backings off. Oh, no. So tomorrow I will not have a coffee and a card. We have we're in full swing of basketball, and so on many Saturdays I will have to have my live on a different day. So I will not be live tomorrow on the 6th. Yes, so this will take its place. So I'm going to start adding that schedule in so that you can have enough time. It will either be on a Friday night or a Saturday night. So here we go. Again, I want to make sure I'm not going too far, but I am being a little strategic here. So I'm putting it about the middle, but you can see my rows of dots, and I have 2 rows showing on the bottom and 2 rows showing on the top. Okay, and see how I left that clear? So there we go. There is our other gift card holder. There we go. What do you think? Which one was your favorite? Do you have a favorite? So here's what I noticed with this. Sometimes I have to come back in and burnish it again. And I do like to put a little block on there to help it kind of calm down and stay closed. But it's okay if it doesn't. So this is the overlapping gatefold gift card holder. And here is our pocket card. Okay. And it just has a little note card that slides out. And you can either attach a gift card with maybe a little glue dot. It could rip your note card, or you can just tuck it down in there with it. Oh, Joan, that's awesome for your grandson. Congrats on his making the team. Thank you, Maggie. Everyone have a beautiful night. Thank you for joining me. If you would like to get any of the products that are on the last chance, don't miss out on those tree dies. If you don't have them and they're on your list, make sure you go grab them. You can shop at bethroy.stampinup.net. And if you loved these cards, please give me a thumbs up over on YouTube. Thank you all. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you soon. Take care.